Hey, we are on air now. I'd like to ask the commissioners to take their seats. County Administrator, take your seat, please. I've always wanted to be a boss. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, welcome to the county chambers, the county new facility where we currently host our meetings now. What a wonderful turnout, and maybe we should have these meetings more frequently, and we'll fill all of the seats. But again, just want to welcome the City of Hagerstown to Washington County's home. And I do kind of feel awkward sitting here because I'm used to going up to the city, and Mayor Brucci always bails me out, and he sits there, and he's the man with all the words. So it does feel awkward to host you here at our place. But again, I want to thank you for coming, and at this time, I'd just like to ask Mayor Brucci to introduce his council members that are present today, and then we'll get moving forward with the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. To my right is Councilwoman Emily Keller. To my left is Councilman Lou Metzner and Councilman Paul Quarterman. To his left is our City Administrator, Valerie Means, and then, of course, our wonderful City Clerk, Donna Spickler.
Okay, well, thank you. And any of the council members have any comments before we get started? Anything you might? Thank you for having us. You're quite welcome. So, and with us this afternoon with the county, we have Commissioner Barr, Commissioner Klein, Commissioner Kiefer, and our County Administrator Rob Slocum. Mr. Myers was unable to attend this afternoon's meeting. He had prior commitments. So let's get started here, and we'll go right down to the joint meeting. And I did not see Jim Kirchhoff here. Is there someone representing the Greater Hagerstown Committee? He's on the agenda. So we'll just go ahead and, well, Jessica Green, I did see your name here. So is are we waiting on Jim Kirchhoff? Not to my knowledge. Okay, well, then Mr. Benita.
Sure.
Okay, you just want to talk to us about the Maryland Theater and tell us what you'd like for us to hear.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for allowing us to be here today. I want to thank you for hosting the opportunity to kind of come together before you on behalf of the Maryland Theater. In 2016, the city and the county both worked together and gave the Maryland Theater $1 million to develop the expansion of the Maryland Theater. In a few minutes, we're going to show you the results of that initiative. Before I do that, I'd like to share just a few thoughts. As we've worked together the last year, and actually the last several years, this project truly is a culmination of collective efforts of city, county, state representatives, local businesses, citizens, private donors, community arts partners, the Maryland Theater staff, and a whole host of volunteers of our community that every day take interest in our community and assist the Maryland Theater. I would like to say this project reflects the greatest aspects of our community and truly that volunteer spirit of working together. It was a proud moment several times to come together to see both city council and the county come together and share the vision that the Maryland Theater had, and a vision that the community has desired for so many years since the renovation was required in the early 70s. Looking back, in preparing for today, I just wanted to I took a look at some old notes, and I came across other times that we sat in front of the council today, the council in the past, and I looked at figures, and we reported back in 2013 that over 76,000 patrons had come through the Maryland Theater's lobby, and we were really proud of that number. Today, several years later, that figure is well over 100,000. And when the theater is busy, our downtown really does come alive. And what I'd like to do is go ahead and lead to this video. Appreciate the efforts that the city and the county have both put forward to this, as well as the community, to the project, and we'll speak for a few minutes afterwards.
All you. Yep. Can you
Bear with us while we try to get the audio.
and we'll try to get some volume added to it.
Well, one thing, I'll fill the gap there. One thing we've done for several years, we've collected a lot of information from a lot of community partners. So what you're going to see in the video today is going to be that summarization of the project.
Can we start it over? John, walk up there and turn the volume up. First glitch we've had, isn't it?
And
No, not from a laptop though. I love technology. It's the best.
Do you have, Benito, do you have the one that the architect put together as well, the visual for that, that video? Yes. Which I don't think, that's at the end, okay. Which is not video or audio dependent, it's more so video, okay. If we have to, we'll scroll to that,
We'll give this a shot.
yeah, yeah.
It's not doing it.
So if need be, we can, is that as high as it, there you go, yeah, we can do that. Is the red light on your mic? Okay.
Anchor institutions like USMH, Washington County Public Schools, and the Maryland Theater are all growing, leading to significant new development. These enhancements are being supported by all levels of government, as well as generous private donations. We want to give you a preview at what's ahead, specifically for the Maryland Theater. Executive Director Jessica Green and Board President Benito Vettelana take us on a virtual tour of the plans.
In order to continue our mission of preserving, restoring, and maintaining the Maryland Theater as a historic property, and to provide quality entertainment, educational and cultural
like to start
offerings
it
to the
again,
community
Benita?
at large, we
Can
must
we-
create a variety of sustainable
Lauren?
revenue streams.
Can we
The
restart it?
expansion project
Now
will
that we
help
can
us
hear,
accomplish this
thanks.
goal.
In summer of 2016, the theater received funding from Washington County and the City of Hagerstown.
Thank you, Lauren.
Exciting changes are coming to downtown Hagerstown. Anchor institutions like USMH, Washington County Public Schools, and the Maryland Theater are all growing, leading to significant new development. These enhancements are being supported by all levels of government, as well as generous private donations. We want to give you a preview at what's ahead, specifically for the Maryland Theater. Executive Director Jessica Green and Board President Benito Vettelana take us on a virtual tour of the plans.
In order to continue our mission of preserving, restoring, and maintaining the Maryland Theater as a historic property, and to provide quality entertainment, educational and cultural offerings to the community at large, we must create a variety of sustainable revenue streams. The expansion project will help us accomplish this goal.
In summer of 2016, the theater received funding from Washington County and the City of Hagerstown to fund the architectural design process. This phase has just reached completion and has produced designs for our 30,000 square foot expansion, which will restore the theater to its original footprint plus more, prior to the fire which destroyed the front of the building in the 1970s. The expansion will replace a current outdoor courtyard and will consist of 5 floors, transforming the Maryland Theater into a performing arts complex. The primary goal of the expansion is to improve the flow of patrons. 3 additional entrances to the historic auditorium are being created, along with improved emergency exits. 2 elevators are planned in the design, and additional restrooms are included with each level, along with a handicap-accessible restroom. A box office space will welcome patrons during business hours and prior to performances.
The expansion contains the following support spaces which do not currently exist: conference room for up to 25 people, volunteer lounge with storage for personal belongings for up to 50 volunteers, a bridal suite for the weddings which are hosted on site, locker rooms for student use during rehearsals, additional and larger concession areas, and merchandise sales areas.
The theater currently serves over 100,000 people annually, including more than 5,000 volunteers and over 12,000 students. Our efforts tie in with the Downtown Urban Improvement Project, a partnership among the Board of Education, the University System of Maryland at Hagerstown, USMH, and local private developers. This development will contribute to the downtown revitalization by increasing foot traffic, enhancing the tax base, and creating jobs in the urban core. The proposed theater expansion is recommended as a catalyst project in the community's city center plan for Hagerstown. Our community has a shared vision to see downtown Hagerstown regain its role as the commercial, institutional, and cultural heart of our community. Planning efforts recognize that the vision can only be realized if the downtown's image is enhanced so that it is widely understood to be a viable place for investment and business and for use by the public.
The Urban Improvement Project to expand the Maryland Theater, the Board of Education, and USMH will allow the cultural and educational destinations to increase their offerings and to thrive. And it is anticipated that the UIP will energize our region about the vision for downtown. We foresee promoting the success of the UIP to potential investors in the private sector and to continue garnering widespread public support for our downtown revitalization vision.
The proposed expansion will offer 5 spaces, including a grand lobby, cocktail lounge, rehearsal studio, and multi-purpose event space. A VIP suite will be available for rentals in order to provide the theater with a sustainable source of income and maintain self-sufficient operations as a standalone nonprofit. These 5 spaces will allow for opportunities to host specialty events prior and following the performances in the auditorium. They will also allow us to host simultaneous private events during performances. The multi-purpose event space will occupy the entire top floor and is capable of hosting private seated events such as weddings or business dinners for 275 guests, vendor shows with up to 20 vendor spaces, or a small performance for up to 300 attendees for clients who do not require the full capacity of the historic auditorium. It will be available for reservation to the general public as well as local businesses on a first-come, first-served basis.
The rehearsal space, which is a replica of the auditorium stage complete with changing facilities and locker rooms, will make up a majority of the 3rd floor in order to support educational and local performing arts partners. This space will provide practice space during the 175 days annually when the stage is already occupied, as well as serving as a daily classroom with connectivity in the form of a walking bridge to the Washington County Public School System's adjacent building. The rehearsal studio will also be available to clients who wish to have rehearsals without sound and lighting, providing a value-conscious opportunity.
The VIP suite will be in the historic projection room at the rear of the balcony. It will be available for reservation by the general public. This space will provide an exclusive event hosting opportunity for parties of 12 persons or less. The space will feature a bar for food and beverage and will allow guests to view the performance from the comfort of a private room. The grand lobby and cocktail lounge will offer private event space as well as adjacent space to the historic auditorium for gatherings associated with other events in the facility. The grand lobby will offer a mostly white in color interior decor with decorative columns similar to those in the event space. The focal point of the lobby will be the grand stairwell, which will assist patrons in reaching the cocktail lounge and the balcony level of the auditorium. The stairwell will offer similar decor to that of the plaster and cherubs within the auditorium. The cocktail lounge will boast a 50-foot-long custom-made bar and will serve as the balcony concessions area as needed during performances.
Existing and new partnerships will be expanded and established through the expansion project. For example, gallery and display areas for the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts and the Convention and Visitors Bureau will provide area visitors with information. Discussions are already in motion in regards to the conference and event hosting in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce and the Visitors Bureau. The alley to the north of the Maryland Theater is theater property and has become known as the Middletown Valley Bank Walkway at the Maryland Theater. It is often utilized by patrons attending events who chose to park in the rear. It is also used as a walking path by business folks and visitors downtown. Lastly, the performers often utilize the walkway to get from the dressing rooms and the backstage areas to the auditorium to create interactive audience experiences with performers coming down the aisles of seating. The proposed construction work in this walkway is significant as it will close a basement corridor for use of performers and theater staff. It will also create a walkway that is street level in order to improve our fire escape exits and make the walkway more welcoming and less like an alley in appearance. Connectivity points to the Board of Education's building will be at the basement dressing room level as well as the stage level. The stage door entrance will be much improved in order to support larger touring productions and local productions with the school system.
Great consideration of how the exterior will affect the existing streetscape is being made. The goal is improving the street presence on South Potomac Street since often visitors and locals are unaware of the historic theater. Further attention to many details has been put into the exterior design of the expansion project. We only have one chance to complete this amazing project, which will be in existence for centuries to come. There are a variety of small and large details on the facade which have meaning behind them. The demolition of the McBair building will be mitigated in several ways, including the cornice shape and pattern is a nod to the existing on the McBair building, which currently houses the box office and concessions area. Historic leaded stained glass windows from the McBair building will be featured in the stair tower. 3 arches have been selected as the main shape of the exterior windows in order to remember the current entrance. These arches also tie into several other buildings in the downtown, such as the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts. A frieze has been designed at the top of the exterior in order to add some color to the design and duplicate what is visible on the historic Colonial Theater across the street. Diamond shapes can be found throughout the frieze, facade, existing auditorium, and other downtown architecture. The canopy is very similar to the original canopy of the building construction in 1915, with scalloped edging and lights behind it. The canopy will provide protection from the weather and a welcoming appearance on South Potomac Street. It will be a focal point of the design, as will the marquee, a vertical sign historically correct, similar to those of historic theaters across the nation. An LCD screen is proposed for the facade facing the traffic coming through downtown. This screen is planned to show scrolling images of upcoming performances and events with titles and dates.
In closing, the Maryland Theater's expansion project will not only be the entryway to our crown jewel, the Maryland Theater, but it will be transformed into a performing arts complex for all artistic, educational, and cultural activities in our area while protecting the theater's historic and cultural significance for generations to come.
appreciate the applause. As you've seen, the architectural process has come in on time, and we expect under budget. So we're very pleased with the outcome, and it's very exciting that it's all coming together now. We definitely could not have done this without the support of the city and county and the funding that you've provided for this architectural process. So thank you. As you may be aware, our construction process is expected to last 18 months. We've taken a look at the theater stage and performance schedule, and we've worked with structural engineers on both the Board of Education project as well as ours because of that shared alley space between the facilities. And with the Board of Ed planning their project to start this January, we've been instructed to start 4 to 6 months later. So our expected start date is July of 2018, just after our season ends in June, our busiest season. And we plan to stay fully operational, which is a whole nother, brings a whole nother challenge, but we're taking it head on, and I think it's doable working with our partners and clients. The need for financial support for the construction process before the start date is absolutely crucial, and our start date is very reliant on the fundraising process. We will need to confirm and sign a contract with a general contractor at the latest by March in order to start in July. So as you know, this is an estimated $13 million project. That includes the $1 million for design. That includes over $11 million in construction costs and about $500,000 in contingency. We have received a commitment from the state of Maryland of $5 million. We have received the $1 million in design from both the county and city, and to date, from our board of directors and our fundraising committee, we have raised $1 million. So we have a remaining $6 million to raise. We are working with a fundraising firm, CCS Fundraising. We've conducted to date over 100 meetings and interviews. We're progressing through a very set solicitation process with very private and personal requests. We're developing relationships with local people in our community and who support the downtown, support the arts, and support the Maryland Theater. And those folks really do have varying interests. Some may be particularly interested in the overall downtown success. Some may be interested in the educational program that the theater participates in, and some may be interested in the plaza. So it really is a focus on the overall downtown. We are not progressing with a splashy ad campaign. You won't see us asking for a $10 donation on your cell phone. These are very personal pledges, and they are planned to come in over a period of 5 years. Theater representatives are working on some forward funding options for those pledges coming in over 5 years. I know the county has graciously agreed to forward fund the state funding, but those numbers are important, but really the community support is more important. And the support and feedback that we've received from over 100 meetings is truly overwhelming. And Benito's going to talk about the impact that this project can really have on our community.
Well, first of all, we understand the challenges of budgeting and the economic situation in our community. And I think that's why we look back at, we've tried to be very good stewards of every dollar, both the city and the county and the state has given the Maryland Theater. And every time we took money from an opportunity to move forward, we looked to see what could have the greatest impact on our community downtown. And we really feel what we've presented today, the video, the overlay of the project, will have an immediate impact on our downtown community. So we are here at the next critical stage of the project, like we were a year ago, to come up with the design. And we're moving forward to trying to look to see if we can move forward the project through construction. At this point, the theater is looking forward to possibly a request from the city and county for a split of the remaining $6 million and maybe $3 million over the next 3 to 5 years.
So we understand, obviously, this will take some further discussion, but what we're asking for is a $3 million commitment between city and county towards the construction costs. Overall, this will be approximately a 25% of the project, and we hope that you'll thoughtfully consider our request.
And we're open to questions, of course.
So these funds, if they become available somehow, could be paid back through your campaign, your fundraising campaign over a course of 5 years.
So you're asking for us to upfront the money versus
Basically.
give you the money? I want to make sure.
No.
That's what I thought.
No, we are asking for grant funding.
Right, that's what I
towards
thought.
the capital campaign
Right.
of $3 million. Could be paid over the course of up to 5 years, just as our private pledges are coming in.
Gotcha.
That's $3 million from the city and $3 million from the county.
A total of $3 million.
Total.
How you divide it
gotcha.
is between you.
$2.5 million from the county and 500,000
I
from
was
the city.
actually-
Sounds right. Sounds right, yeah.
No, I think what they're asking for is help from the county, from the city, and they're going to be open to discussion as to how we could possibly make that happen. So, and I know in the past we've done some loans with the museum where they've paid us back and so forth, but you would have to discuss that with our county administrator, then he would, I'm just talking for myself, I'm not talking for everyone, and then he would get the information back to me, and then we could go from there. Does that make sense?
It's going to take a little bit of further discussion.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So, and thought the presentation was outstanding. I did get tired of seeing Ron Byers walk around in that video, and I bet I saw him 15 times. He's everywhere. So, but everybody that's been involved in trying to put together the whole, the total end product of the Maryland Theater, I can't imagine how many meetings you've had, how many thousands and thousands of hours, how many sleepless nights many of you have had just brainstorming, trying to come up with ways to make all of this a reality. And I just want to thank you and congratulate you for just sticking with everything. So it's going to be awesome when it's done.
It's been a good 6 years.
Yeah.
Real strong initiative.
That's for you, probably 25 for Mr. Byers. Yep. So, and I can remember back, when I was a little kid, my dad took us there, and we watched the Joe Foreman Muhammad Ali fight on closed circuit television. So that was always a big treat for my family if we got to go down to the Maryland Theater back when I was just a little fella. So
And to
probably
put a
before
plug-
Mr. Brucci's time.
Put a plug in, the Hitmen are coming, I think November 5th. And for those who have not seen them, I strongly advise you to get the tickets now.
Yeah. So, okay, anything else to add or comment? Thank you again for
Thank you, guys.
a wonderful
Thank you.
presentation and a request.
Sure.
Okay, I also have here on the agenda WCH Aeronautics Mayor Bob Rucci.
Yeah, well, he'll introduce himself and some information about, we sat down 2 months ago now, I guess it's probably been, and tried to, he has some very innovative ideas when it comes to how his company can help public safety in our area. And I believe that it's definitely worth a listen because I think he has some outstanding, exciting information for us.
So, first off, my name is Paul Dillon. My company is WCH Aeronautics. We are currently located in the incubator here in Washington County in Hagerstown at HCC. The company itself has been in existence for about 4 or 5 months. Before that, we were operational for approximately 2 years. We just were not formally a C-class corporation. Our business is a bad word. Our business is drones. And we are currently backed by a military community, an intelligence community. We have advisors from all over the government, from special forces, and then we have ourselves. Our company is veteran-owned, our company is minority-owned. And what we specialize in is the automation of collision-free UAVs. What we want to do, what we've asked for this joint meeting for us to be able to present to you, is we want to be able to work with the chiefs of the police department and the fire department and EMS, and work with the Emergency Operations Center and design a UAV response system for Washington County and Hagerstown. This, using a fire ground as an example, at the point where a person made a fire call, asking about, reporting a fire, before fire trucks got on scene, you could effectively have 3 to 4 units on scene reporting to the officer in charge of that scene what exposures need to be watched, where they need to position their people, where they need to position their trucks, where all of that has to happen before they get there. With police departments and law enforcement, we have technologies that we're working on that are acoustic recognition. 3 of those in the air, Nolan Village, a few months ago, would have detected the location that the gunshot came from. EMS, AEDs in flight, traveling directly to a scene. It's being done in other countries. It's being done in other places. We're constantly in contact with the Department of Justice, so we know what we're able to do in order to not break any laws, not violate any people's rights. We've been in communication with the FAA, and they are looking at getting us restricted airspace at the Hagerstown Regional Airport so that we can test the larger drones at that location. We are not asking you for money. We are definitely not asking you to buy any of our product. We want to design the system and test it in Washington County and Hagerstown, because that will give us the marketing ability to take it out to other clients that we are looking at and bidding on. And it'll give the expertise of our fire department, our police department, and our EMS departments, and allow us to build a better response model for safety for our UAVs. We will hold your hand, we will train you, we will take the firefighters, the police officers, and the EMS responders. We will get them their certificates for flying. If it's run by the Emergency Operations Center, we will take care of that too. The U.S. government recently passed what's called an Emergency Certificate of Authority. An Emergency Certificate of Authority is applied for once, and it has to be applied for by a municipality. Once that Certificate of Authority is applied for, any time that there is an emergency, all the Emergency Operations Center has to do is say, we're activating this Certificate of Authority, and the drones will instantly be able to travel to wherever, whenever, and operate legally. But it's all part of a process, and that's what we would like to work with the county and the city to accomplish here.
Did you hear the part about he's not asking for any money, right? You heard that, right? Okay, all right.
For you.
We, as of Friday, we are fully funded. We have no need for asking for money.
So I guess, have you reached out to our emergency
No.
services director?
Terry, and I'll tell you, and I know that he hasn't, because we met and we were brainstorming about how to get everyone together. And I said, maybe it's, I couldn't put the logistics together to bring everybody together. And I thought, well, we're having a joint meeting coming up. Maybe if he presents at our joint meeting, we have some fire personnel out here, and that's why they're here. And hopefully, we can put the right people in touch with him so that they can begin to formulate some kind of a plan to see if it's feasible for us to do this.
Not to speak for you, President or Commissioners, but we have some of the right people here behind us, and Dave Hayes, Emergency, and I see your chief is here.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've heard about this. I will tell you, however, this is in my opinion, long overdue. I was suggesting 2 years ago that fire and rescue and police be using drones. It seems to make so much sense, and I can think of how much money, if safety-wise, it's obvious, but I could also think about with the quick response, sometimes where we may not need 7 vehicles to respond to somebody with a crushed finger. So I think it's a great idea.
Okay, so I guess we just need some suggestions on how to move forward.
I
And,
was thinking that we could have our administrators work with him and put our right people in touch with him and move it forward that way.
Commissioners?
All in favor? Absolutely. Great idea.
We're all good, right? Yes, sir. I'm excellent. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you, sir.
You have a card.
Committee together.
Just don't send him an email. That doesn't surprise me. So it feels like.
Well, Lou's exactly correct. I bet there was 50 pieces of footage. No, that-
Thank you again, Mr. Dillon.
I would like to give a kudos to Linda Spence and Cassie Lewis of our business development. They have worked with gentleman, Mr. Dillon, to get to the FAA. Is that correct? Out at the Hagerstown Regional Airport. So staff has already employed some of the resources we have, city and county both, Hagerstown Airport. So.
Cool. Good. All right.
Hey, Mayor, that's all I have on my agenda for the
I don't
joint
have
meeting.
anything. If
to add?
anybody, unless somebody has another subject
Any of
they want
the
to discuss.
council members have anything they'd like to add?
Been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I do want to say, again, I am thankful that the urban improvement project is moving forward, and everybody is staying in touch with everybody, because believe me, in this kind of a project, communication is definitely the key, and I can't wait for it all to come together. So, thank you very much for all your efforts.
Thank you. Any comments from the commissioners?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said communication's the key. I think this is our second quarterly meeting, and hopefully next quarter we can meet at your house.
Well, you know where it is. You guys are riding in the parade, I take it?
Yes, sir.
Cool, we'll see you that night then,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. And,
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to the
Thank you all.
county here. Okay, commissioners are recessed.